Hi, folks. Barson here. This is a podcast for grown-ups, so any of you tender-eared youngins out there, perhaps consult with your folks or the episode description to see if this episode's right for you. But Sparkleoneous is always right for you. He's a good boy, and doesn't say any of those bad words, so maybe just skip to all of the Sparkleoneous parts and buy his merch. Barson.
Anyway, hey everybody, and welcome back to Dungeons, Drive-Ins, and Dice, a wider world, and we're finally into Dungeons and Dragons. My name is M, and I am playing Haribo Tamagotchi, traveler not from this area. He is a artificer. Gotta remember all the little bits about him. He's an artificer and a changeling that sort of sits around as like a half-elf, because he noticed that looking like a human was not doing him well, so he pointed his ears, and that was that. Now he gets treated a little bit better. Other than that, fun fact of the week for Haribo Tamagotchi. It's always hard coming up with the fun fact.
Roll a question for you?
Yeah, roll a question for me.
Got the book.
Let's see. Okay, here is the question for the table. What knowledge or skill does your character have that no one else does? Do they understand that this is special?
Ooh, my character has quite a bit of knowledge that he is fairly certain that no one else has, in that he is from not Faerun. I guess this would be a fun fact and a time to talk about him. Haribo is from like the third ring of Saturn. So he has quite a lot of knowledge. He's done a lot of travel in space and has only ended up here recently. He can't leave here, so this is like not necessarily by choice that he's here. But I do think that, like, I guess I'm thinking from like M's point of view that like that is a lot of secretive knowledge that not a lot of people around me possess. Yeah, I do keep it close to the chest, though. I'm not like walking around telling everyone. I feel like that as a person from not here could cause troubles. So I've kept that one on the DL as for the most part. That's Haribo.
As the kids would say.
As the kids would say.
Hello, and my name is Lawrence. I play the wonderful bard Sparkleoneous. As an inverse to your character, my character has songs about how I came from the sky. But Sparkleoneous doesn't really know that he came from space. He was too young to really understand. As far as a special skill, Sparkleoneous has a lot of special skills, but I think the number one thing that he keeps typed to the chest, he has a favorite texture. He doesn't eat a lot of food, because he doesn't eat normal food. He has a favorite texture, and that is wood carving. I don't think we explicitly brought that up in the last set. So Sparkleoneous, he can really enjoy these things before he destroys them. And, no one can really get rid of a wood carving quite like Sparkleoneous. He can turn it into a ball, a little tiny little pellet. And who knows what happens to that pellet?
Do you get...
Gross.
I guess about your eating, do you get more than just sustenance? Do you get any sort of like psychic connections to the things you're eating?
No.
Okay.
Just like, dopamine. I just like it.
Cool. I enjoy
it. like a nice carved duck. That's like a steak dinner to Sparkle. Which is confusing.
I was going to say a carved duck is a nice dinner, but you don't mean like
it's
human
It's a confusing
duck.
sentence. He's a confusing character. He's very, very deep. All musicians are like that.
Does Sparkleoneous have a preferred wood?
Cherry. Interestingly enough,
Okay.
it's the hardness. It's like a gobstopper. It lasts for a long.
He likes crunching on like full on crunching a jawbreaker.
Gross.
Sparkleoneous has never crunched in his life.
Sure.
There's no bones in there.
No bones about it.
I guess you could crush pebbles together like his eyeballs and pretend he could make teeth. That'd be upsetting.
He could make teeth. They wouldn't last long, but he could.
Sparkleoneous' visage is already strange enough. Do we really want to keep adding things?
I feel like this is going to be the thing we belabor
this is
the most.
The third session.
I feel like
let him develop as a person before we start changing his appearance.
I feel like his physiology is going to be the thing we belabor the most throughout this campaign. And I already do have another question, can you control the placement of the things inside your body after you've eaten them?
After I've eaten them?
So,
I assume I just kind of like pop them out.
Like you have a pot, right? We've discussed how you have a pot. Can you move that
my
pot
backpack.
like up into your head and down into your foot and over into your arm?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think if it's not something that I'm actively eating, I think that can just kind of go wherever.
Love it.
I feel like eating, I have to keep that a little bit closer to the chest.
Does that move fast or slow when you
Pretty
move
slow.
the pot? Oh, that's so much worse than if it was fast.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably make it fast, but like most of the time, it's just kind of floating around.
So we're thinking like lava lamp speeds in there,
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah, it's a lava lamp.
Oh
Okay.
no, he's a lava
Yeah,
lamp.
he is so much cooler than I could have imagined.
Good old Sparkleoneous. He's a pot lava lamp.
Now I'm imagining that you're sort of like those squishy things that you get at museum gift shops that like
Oh.
slide through your hands. The insides of those.
Oh yeah, there's like
yep.
usually little beads, like little
They're like
animals.
it's like glitter and goop basically.
Nope, just a pot.
Just a pot.
Oh, Wiki. All right. Well, my name is Grace Stringer, and I play Margery Ridgeback, who is a shifter necromancer. And so the question is, one thing I can do better than everybody else, or that
Piece
I
of
have
knowledge
that's
I think
better
that
than-
you have that's
Piece of knowledge. Oh, neat. Oh, knowledge. I was gonna talk about my undead ferret, but
yeah. Tell us about your undead ferret.
his name is Scarf, and no one really knows how long he's been alive because I just keep making him come back. He's my buddy. So I guess I know terrible spells. Not actually, but in theory, we don't know how old the ferret is. No one knows. That's part of the mystery. I don't know if I have any knowledge because I'm still learning how to be a necromancer.
Was he
Man.
was he gifted to you as an undead ferret already?
I found him in the trash when I was an urchin.
I do.
Him in the trash or his corpse?
Him. He was alive.
Okay,
he
got it.
was alive. So yes, I found him in the trash when I was an urchin mode, and he's been with me.
Where
ever
do you keep Scarf like on your person? Where is Scarf when you're wandering around town?
Well, depending on the city and like their view of vermin, usually either draped over the shoulders, obvi, or I have like a little pouch on my belt.
Like a ferret shawl?
Yeah, but he's alive.
But he sure. Well, unalive.
He's alive, but he lives in a little pouch at my belt. And just scampers at will.
Ferret.
What's his name?
Okay.
Scraps?
Scarf.
And then we want
pretty good.
to
Pretty good ferret name.
as a table, we would like to extend a great warm greeting to a new member here at the Dungeons, Dragons, and Dice table. Mike, welcome on in. Good to have you.
Thank you very much. As you said, my name is Mike, and I'm playing a dwarven fighter named Thadeus Ofkoot. Thadeus is a soldier by trade and is, as soldiers may stereotypically sometimes be, simple by nature. He is tall for a dwarf, as he comes from the mountain dwarves, and so he's a whopping 5'1", which he gloats about to other dwarves. And the piece of knowledge that others might not know is that other dwarves consider him to be quite chatty, although those who are not dwarves might not know that.
They're a mountain
Okay.
among mountain dwarves.
Yes, indeed.
I love it. I love it.
Mike actually got the question. He nailed it.
I can follow
His first
simple
round.
instructions. It's good.
Applause.
Well,
Applause.
none of the rest of us can.
Nope.
So
Nope.
We struggle with questions.
I see a rule and I immediately forget it.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Gabe Stringer, our erstwhile game master, here to bring us not fun facts, but recaps. When last we met our characters, I think the entirety of last session can be summed up by we had like 2 conversations and then we went to bed.
sure,
That was
a
we were at
5-footer.
the Sundown Showdown 2, part 1. And the village guard came flying through the bay window, and that was our way to introduce Wilhelm Fella, a sleepy little guy who was disturbed in his rest, and his guardian angel threw that disturbance through a window. We quickly befriended and eased tensions around Mr. Fella, and he invited us to meet with him at a second location to discuss his problems. And it turns out that his problems more or less involve the fact that his dreams have led him to this town, and he's not entirely sure why. We agreed to look into it more without making any sort of firm commitments to him. And we said that tomorrow we're going to go and talk to Lord Ungar Thorn and see if he knows anything that could be useful in our little investigation here.
Would you be able to give us? Oh no, keep going. I'll ask after.
No, go. Okay. Well, the last thing that happened is that we went to sleep and that we're about to do a dream sequence. So I think now actually is the time for questions.
Perfect. Before the dream sequence. The dream sequence we've heard about from Wilhelm Fella. The notes I have in it are he dreamed of a big hole. It was bad. He didn't get good feelings from this hole. A skeletal paladin, and I don't recall. Did he give us any? Did he like have any other little dreamy details? In the mountains, I think was one of them.
The big one.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I want to know what you remember before I.
Embracing the Force versus defending against the Force.
Right, two different sides of this coin.
We don't want him to have the Force. I don't think anybody should have the Force.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Wants to embrace or discover, and we don't want him to embrace.
No,
and he
doesn't
also really
either,
wanted to make a deal with us. He really wanted to make a deal and shake our hand.
He kept using the word contract.
Compact, I think.
Compact.
I don't know if that's different, but
what is a compact besides like in purse?
It's a very small car.
True. Maybe he wanted to make a small car with us.
Only you would know that. Only you would know that, Tamagotchi. I don't know what a car is.
True.
And I never
scratch
will.
my chin and say, I don't think he wants car.
Do love the idea that Tamagotchi's notes do include a drawing of a car and a question.
Really quick. So Ungar is the Lord.
Yes.
What's the name of the wizard?
Mundane.
Mundane. That's why I didn't remember it.
Mundane.
I think I spelled it Moundaine, so it could be like Moundane, but I'm not going to pronounce it that way.
I did
Won't
mention that
that
we
way
have
in my
problems,
notes.
Me and the wizard, and it's because I call him Mundane for sure. He can tell I'm spelling it that way.
Well, that's all I had. We're gonna go to the Lord together. That's the last thing I have written.
Yes, we were heading to the Lord, but
3 hours
first. In the guest room.
The only
of
other
Haribo's
thing.
yurt.
The only other thing from the dream sequence worth mentioning, I think he said a ruined fortress on a mountainside.
Yes, that is very important.
Oh, also the dream sequence we're going into is Margery's dream sequence.
That is correct. Yeah,
Great.
we're dropping into it from Margery's perspective in 3, 2, now. Margery, it's dark and you're in a nest. You're sitting in a big nest. You're still a person, sort of hunched down as if you're a baby bird sitting in this nest.
Just a good sentence there. You're still a person.
Don't worry.
You in this nest are in an immense, at least by your standards, pine tree, overlooking a vast forest. You hear the rush of air through tattered wings as a decrepit vulture-like bird lands next to the nest. It turns towards you, and you see that it has the body of a vulture and the head of a ferret.
Oh, my boy!
Not my boy.
The scarf vulture sidesteps over to you as the bird do. It fixes you with large yellow eyes featuring square pupils, and it says, "It's been a while, my child. Don't tell me you don't recognize me." And you do recognize him. This is the unpleasant way that your deity manifests. You have only seen him exactly the one other time when you officially became a cleric of Velsharoon. But now tonight, you find yourself in his nasty nest. And here he is, speaking to you from the head of your own ferret.
My lord, what brings you here in my dream, in my noggin?
All my disciples are tasked with spreading themselves across the land, in search of items and forgotten lore that could be of use to me and them, but mostly me. You, in your casting, have found deeper waters than you may know. Something here draws my interest to you. Look down. And you look down, and suddenly below you, you see at the base of this huge tree that you're in, a large clearing. And in this clearing, you see huge blocks of ruined stone. Some of them cracked, many of them covered in moss, arranged in a rough square, but really this structure is falling apart enough that its original purpose is hard to decipher. The only well-constructed portion of this that remains is at the center of this square. There is a series of stone steps leading down into darkness.
Is it a large square, like it was once like a castle, or is this like a house or a cottage?
I would say closer to castle, but
McMansion.
castles aren't square.
Like a McMansion.
This is a big building. This was a big building, but it's not a castle.
Got
Like
it.
a fort.
Okay. All right. Okay. And there's just stairs leading down.
Stairs leading down into darkness, and Velsharoon says, "Down there. Find that for me. Place my sigil on it and claim it in my name."
Find what? The down in the stairs? What can you be more specific as to what it is?
No. And then the dream's over.
Places sigil on stairs, walks away. Done. Check.
Praise be Velsharoon.
Thanks for the easy dub, God.
I do have one last question about the dream, because my brain I was listening, my brain was focusing on that. Was I proportionately in a giant nest, or was it like normal size that I was kind of, my butt was just in the nest?
No, proportionally. I think I do love that. That's pretty good.
What's up, Vel?
Just like as if you're stuck inside of a tire swing, but it's a nest.
Well,
But
because like
no,
vulture
this
nests
was
are that size, so I was like a little egg chilling.
you were proportional. Yes, this was to your estimation a big ferret-headed vulture.
Gross. Okay.
Okay, but you wake up. You're awake. You're in the spare room of Haribo Tamagotchi's yurt, if I remember correctly. What's this look like, Tamagotchi?
The spare room.
Yeah, and it's not weird.
The spare
he made it
room,
clear
it's
that
not
it's
weird,
not weird.
and I made that so.
Hey, as the first person to bring it up this session, you're making it weird.
I didn't. Anyway, it's more of a quote unquote spare room in that it is the living room of the yurt. It has a pull out couch and this, like they do in like hotels where you can like open the wall and pull a shutter to like section the room off. My living room, actually my whole house has like a bunch of these, so I can like rearrange the rooms in my house. So I set you up with the fold out bed at night, and then I pull that shutter so you have like a private room. And then
Tamagotchi truly is a top tier engineer, because people at hotels can't even get those things to work.
Yeah.
I didn't even know those things existed.
Yeah, they're for like giant convention style rooms, but he has them for his small room. And yeah, I think the inside of Haribo's hut, the furniture is all hand built by his own hand. The walls mostly are also built by his own hand. Like most of this was just like a shell when he arrived, so he had to build all of this in here.
Is it neat and orderly? Does it have like weird chemical smells? Like, do you do work inside of the yurt?
No,
like,
mostly I do that work in the outside, the little outside area. It's neat, but there's lots of like random wires running at angles to make sure that these things work smoothly. So like every now and then you have to like duck out of the way of a wire that Haribo just like has tried to move, but it has to be there for this whole thing to run super smoothly. So he lives in a little bit of like dodging wires here and there to get through, but it's comfortable. It's light.
It works, so don't touch it.
I completed that task. On to another one.
Yep, I can very much empathize with that sentiment. Okay, I think we're gonna move on. We can talk about breakfast in the yurt if we want to, but we can also move forward and call it 10 a.m., call it 10:30 a.m. whenever we decide that we would reconvene in the square.
Yeah, I think breakfast is quick. Like you wake up to the sound of like potatoes frying in a pan, right? And so there's like a little bit, like a little
Wow.
egg and breakfast burrito that I split. Like I split all of the portion into 2 plates, and we enjoy a light breakfast on the way out the door. Easy. And on our way to meet up with Sparkleoneous before we head to the Lord's Manor.
What a good host.
Yeah.
Sparkleoneous, you, I guess, break the news to Barson that you're not leaving this morning. In fact, that you're staying longer than he had anticipated.
Yeah, Barson, so here's the thing. I've got a different kind of gig going on, you see. Gonna go figure out what's up with that chap from the window last night. Not the one that went through the window, but the one that fixed it afterwards. So that's where we're going today, Barson. Come with me to the square.
Oh, well, okay, boss. I don't see how this is going to make us any money. Hotel rooms cost coin and all that. But
Well, you
all
see,
right.
I've already made some money off of this. I've already made a little bit of money, so I think if my business sense is right, we might be able to make some more.
As your manager, I think I have to agree until I don't have any money. So yes, lead the way, boss.
Thank you, Barson. And then we go to the square. Barson doesn't get to sit down, and Sparkleoneous is sitting on the fountain, signing autographs, maybe, whenever people approach.
It's I wouldn't say it's a steady stream, but it's whatever one grade lower than a steady stream. I guess an unsteady stream of townsfolk coming by to get various things. Not a ton of like loose scrap paper, so it is like cookbooks and almanacs and things that you're signing for them. A news scroll from a few years back. So the three of you meet up and you head to the Lord's Manor. The quote unquote essential functions of government in this town are behind one additional palisade wall that separates the grain storage, the barracks, and the Lord's Manor from the rest of the town. Extra protection and such. The barracks stand to the left, mostly empty, and I don't know about its level of cleanliness. I'll have to ask one of the occupants in a moment. And the granary looks spick and span, well maintained. The manor, I don't know. The only interesting thing really about the manor beyond its construction, it's built of stone with decorative little statuary on the windowsills and on the edges and the trimmings of the roof. More stonework than woodwork on this one, and lots of smoke coming up out of the central chimney. You enter the Lord's Manor and are immediately confronted with a few things. First thing, it's hot in here, and second, it is smoky because the Lord of this town has taken up blacksmithing in a fairly serious way. And the Great Hall of the Lord's Manor has been converted into a fully functioning smithy. There is anvils and forges and all the different accoutrement that you need to make a first-class set of pitchforks or chainmail or whatever it is that you want to make out of metal. And sitting in a chair that glides smoothly from spot to spot within this forge setup is Lord Ungar Thorn. Lord Ungar Thorn sits in a mechanized chair. He is bald. He is wrapped in blankets except for his one huge arm. He sort of reminds you of a fiddler crab because he's got the one big arm that swings the hammer, and he in his chair he goes from spot to spot, moving things around and ironing the metal out and such with the hammer. He's currently doing some tweaks. He's got some He's got a set of plate in a vise, and he's like got pincers on it, and he's sort of applying minor tweaks to get it shaped the way that he would like.
As we
But
enter,
as he
I shoot up a hand. I say, Lord Thorn, it's wonderful to catch you today. How is the chair treating you?
he turns in recognition and like dials down the roar of the furnace so that it sort of is just like cut off and muted. He says, Tamagotchi, it's working mighty pleasant. I must say. The mechanized tracks that we put into the floor were well worth it, despite my butler's protestations. And he hits a switch, and the chair swivels towards you and glides up to where you've assembled.
Shake his hand
Near.
friendly, warmly.
It's a firm handshake.
That is blacksmithing hand that he uses to also shake hands.
It's just the one hand.
Got it.
He's one hand for all things.
Got it.
I don't have anywhere for you to sit. This is a working entryway. So, what can I do you for? If you're looking for more tinkering work, I don't have any right now. It's almost horseshoe season.
No, I needed to come by the manor for a problem that we sort of, that it has been drummed up as of last night. Stranger in town, some strange dealings. Me and my two compatriots here, Margery, and I motion to Margery, and Sparkleoneous, the bard you may have heard.
Strange dealings indeed. Stranger than me, even.
And he is
That's saying
strange
something.
one. Indeed. I was wondering if we might bend your ear for a time to discuss these dealings, see if you might know where we could start in helping this traveler.
And of course, you are such a very busy lord, so in lieu of some of your time, perhaps I could offer you a song in exchange.
Yeah, that sounds.
Does he
All
like
right.
song? He likes song.
Here comes this one. All right. Blacksmithing, he's gonna make a sword. Blacksmithing, Ungar, such a noble lord. Blacksmithing, for a shield you'll need a board.
That he claps, and by that I mean he slaps his chair rhythmically.
Haribo does
you.
not understand how you're able to do that and is blown away every time.
I need to. Haribo, side job for you. We have to figure out how to record that. I need that playing in here
What's a recording?
all the time.
I might be able to get that done if you could get me a little bit of extra copper I could turn into wire. I might be able to.
I don't know what that is either.
Okay.
It's blacksmithing language. I don't really expect you to.
strings.
I don't expect you to follow, but you will appreciate the project when it's complete. I
We'll
plan
see
to.
about that.
I could see it in my mind now as a full sort of He-Man sword transformation sequence backed by it with a hammer, and like it glows. It's going to be really cool. This is my new arc for now.
Anyway,
Who needs horseshoes?
I'd love to help you getting a recording device in place where we could record Sparkleonious's wonderful voice. But we had some trouble last night. A stranger in town, he's had some strange dreams about the nearby area. He's been driven here by them, and none of them seem to jump out to me, but you've been in this area far longer than myself, and I'm curious if any of them would lead you to a place we might be able to check out in the nearby mountains.
Wow. This is the young lad who caused the kerfuffle down at Sylvanas, yes?
Oh,
Yes, with the giant floating shape with the cudgel. That's a hard word for me to say, cudgel.
indeed.
Sounds good when you say it, though.
Not so in control of his own powers, it seems, at the moment.
I do think that young man probably needs some help. But what do you know of these dreams of his? Do we have anything to go on?
Indeed, he spoke of a ruined fortress in a mountainside, in a mountainous area, maybe up a mountain path, or I guess the surroundings were mountain. I don't want to fill in the blanks, but he spoke of a large dark hole and some skeletons. Skeletons we'll find anywhere, but curious if any sort of old ruined fortresses in these mountains. I know it's not a great starting point, but it's really all we have.
I can't say that I'm not familiar with the various ruins hereabouts in this parts of the country. My family's been in these mountains, in these valleys for generations. I do know a thing or three about the various things out there. But I will say as I'm looking at you, can I be honest with you for a second?
I pop my overall bands. Yes, indeed.
Mm-hmm. I don't think you can hack it.
Well, that seems kind of rude.
Sparkleoneous says,
I mean,
holy shit. It's getting real.
Ouch.
I have every estimation of you in your little fiddly metal tinkering skills, but
God damn. All right.
but getting out there and swinging a sword and hitting things with a stick, I think the things are gonna hit you harder than you're gonna hit them.
I hold up my trusty ball peen hammer that I use as a weapon.
Yep. You
take-
go
I can
cobble
take
some
on a
shoes
thing
with
or
that
two.
little buddy.
All right. Well,
Well, I can't really
Anyway.
help you with sending a harder hit, but Barson, you can really take one. Barson's take some of the hardest hits I've ever seen.
You beat your little butler?
No, I never do anything.
no, not me.
You know, just things happen. Life is like that.
Barson
Justice
is
for
the kind of-
Barson.
Barson is the kind to sort of self-inflict psychic damage just all the time.
Oh.
Poor guy.
Okay. In that regard, I do have a problem that I think if you can handle this, then I'll tell you what I know about mountain ruins and all of that. I'll even throw in a purported dragon's burial ground while I'm at it. You know,
That sounds
something
far
exciting.
too dangerous.
But think of the songs I could write about that. Oh my god.
See, think of the songs he could write about that. Oh my god. It's definitely not because I only have 3 guards and I can't justify sending them out to do things. They have to all be here.
You're going to
protect
send 3 guards to write a song about a dragon's corpse?
They might be better at that than actually dealing with it.
I may.
They should call you Ungar the Forge because your insults are so hot.
Spitting
Not
fire.
because of the
over
whole
there.
blacksmith thing. Unrelated.
I might request just a touch of assistance if you could give it. There seems to be this spellcaster. I say with lightweight, seems to have a rather powerful backing, and I am nervous. I feel nervous about a lot of this, and I'm curious if maybe not a guard, but if you did have anyone in town you could suggest to us to aid us in this manner.
I mean, it's not going to be a guard. It's going to be a guard.
Just being
I
a little
run a
shisty,
whole little homestead.
just being a little shisty earlier. I understand. All right.
Well, I do. Here's the thing: is that I cannot justify sending 1 guard, but only 1 guard actually wants to go out into the world and do things and not just protect the town. You know, there's a difference between being a guard and being an adventurer. And this guy, he sort of wants to split the difference there.
Proactive approach. Protecting the town. You kill those bandits before they get
Stop
into
them
the
from
town.
getting to the town. Yeah.
You're still defending the town.
Yeah, you hit them where they live.
Your assault force. Yes, we could use your assault force.
So you want us to break into a bandit's house? This is the job. Sorry,
Yes.
I've been writing a song. I'm not paying attention.
You've been following along perfectly. And he now he just calls out. He says, Thaddeus, could you come in here for a moment?
Yes, my lord. What can I do
And
you for?
in comes Thaddeus. Can we get like a brief description of just like his overall bearing or outfit or how he carries himself?
Yes, he's dressed like the rest of the town guard in not the nicest of chainmail, but there is chainmail. He's got an insignia on his shoulder. He carries a very large hammer with 2 axes on his waist. And he carries himself like a soldier, very square-shouldered and upright, and looking just a little bit pissed off all the time.
When he enters, I put down my small hammer.
Aw.
Don't worry, it's
understand
not
what
a
you mean.
competition. It's not a competition.
Point proven.
Everyone, this is Thaddeus of Coot.
Hello.
Afternoon.
He's our sergeant at arms, generally in charge of whipping the troops, 1-2, just plural troops, into shape. But there have been some complaints about how rigorous he can occasionally be. So, birds and stones, right? Isn't this synchronous? Thaddeus, you get to go with them. Your job. Now here I got to tell you the job.
Sure.
That would be great.
10 minutes into this conversation, we're getting the job.
He keeps looking over at the forge. He's clearly not used to having a conversation distract him from his work this long. So the job. We don't get that many merchants, but we do have some essentials that have to come by wagon by merchant in order for us as a town to continue to exist. And recently, in the past few months, our merchants and travelers on the North Road have been harried by you might call them nuisance humanoids, goblins and kobolds and little bandity fellas.
I've dealt with plenty of
That,
goblins nearby recently.
Mm-hmm. Good. Then you'll probably know where to start.
Probably.
Probably. I don't particularly care how you get it done. If you can find a chief or something and make peace with him, that's good. If you can bribe them with a shiny rock, that's also good. If you just burn their house down, that's also good. We can't have little guys assaulting the merchants because the merchants can't afford guards, I guess.
Indeed.
Be off with you.
Oh, shit. All right.
Paid for
All
this?
right then. Goodbye.
Is there pay? Are we gonna get paid? Was it-
Oh, yes.
Also,
It's a
money.
job, right?
Also money,
Yes.
not just ruin information. What a treat.
Mhm. Yep. You can have money, or I can give you a freebie from he gestures vaguely at the forge. You know, you can get a thing.
I'm sure we can
You
work
want-
together on something.
Yeah.
We'll take money, right, Barson? Barson
yeah.
likes
No,
money.
of course.
Hey,
Of
we're
course, we're taking money. I always forget that I too am Barson.
That's all right, Barson. Thank you.
I sort of picture Barson as like an inflatable guy who really only exists when we call upon him.
All right, so side idea that we might have dealing with this situation. What if we get the little men to get hired by the merchants, and then we have the little men just fight amongst themselves, and the merchants go straight on through?
We could broker a deal between the merchants and the what did he call them? The nuisance humanoids of the woods in between to sort of
Yeah,
protect
I've
the
not-
merchants.
I've not spoken with very many goblins, but you know, I think it's worth a shot. Get him out there doing things other than harrying merchants. And instead they can just harry each other.
I agree. Goblins and kobolds tend to start off aggressive, but they are still able to communicate. And I think if we offer them a good enough deal, that maybe we could stop them from attacking.
What say you, soldier man? What do you think we should do?
My dealings with the outlier small folk have not been pleasant. I am not perhaps in the best position to negotiate with them.
Yeah, and Tamagotchi did like slingshot one of them, or
Was
What
it
did you do?
lethal? I don't recall.
I don't think recently I executed any of them, but I did scare them off from
Oh.
attacking your
Don't
your
like that
own
phrasing
caravan.
recently.
Guess we have actually seen our own examples of this recently. With the
Well,
attacks
I'm
on,
not going to go in there myself, so it seems like we need to come up with a different plan. Because I don't think either of you will like. I don't think they'll like to talk to you, frankly. Doesn't seem like either of you have had a good time in the past with them.
No,
I do have
not so
some
much.
decent relationships with them.
You did invite them to tea
Indeed.
after shooting them with your slingshot.
Indeed, I scared them off from the attack, but that doesn't mean that they have come by for tea before. Not like every goblin, of course, but I have had a number of goblins, kobolds, and the random nuisance humanoids of the forest by for tea in the past. They are civilized enough to have conversation. They're attacking a merchant caravan. I'm showing up. They may know me, but there's balances, checks and balances to it all. I think.
Anyone speak goblin? I only speak orc.
So, no.
What about
Okay, so
you, Barson? Any goblin in there? Any goblin in the noggin?
nope.
All right.
Damn.
well,
Almost.
maybe our what was the dream guy's name?
Wilhelm.
Wilhelm.
yeah, maybe
Maybe
we
we'll-
could go pop by the wizard, talk to Wilhelm, and see if he's, he had his own little side quest. Let's abandon this current side quest and go join up on someone else's
See how
side
Wilhelm
quest.
did with his conversation with the wizard.
Let's just take
I
this
thought-
soldier along with us as long as we can and keep him from his duties.
So we went to get information and we're instead given a job and a henchman or a friend.
I don't hench.
I don't
A
hinge.
companion. He doesn't work for you.
No, definitely we were given a companion. We were definitely sent there for info. In order to get that info, we have to stop the banditry on the road to the north. So, we could go meet up with Wilhelm and tell him and ask what he got. And if he got some info that points us in a direction, we could do that, or we could take care of the banditry. I think there's still options.
I think in order to be kind to our friend, he's got some guarding to get back to, perhaps. Maybe we should just go and do this thing first. I don't want to get on the Lord's bad side. Sparkleoneous looks at you, Thaddeus, and he says, "It's not good to get on the Lord's bad side, is it?
No, it's not.
Not one of those reverse psychology lords, got it."
He's got
No.
one good punching arm, and that's it.
Oh,
And it packs a wallop.
I believe that. Well, then let's go talk to some goblins, see where it goes.
To the north, I know of a singular goblin encampment that I've done most of my forest dealings with. We could start there.
Maybe they know the other goblins. We could get them to fight.
It's a start. It's a start.
Beat standing.
All right.
And do any of those goblins speak common by chance?
Oh, a number of them do. Yes.
Handful.
I have picked up a very small touch of goblin in my dealings with them, but typically there's sort of a broken exchange of common and goblin back and forth.
Okay.
Goblin.
See what you got with that,
Goblin.
Gabe.
Understood.
Learns
Good,
goblin really
cool.
quick.
You've established a pigeon language.
I only know I surrender. That's it. It's the only goblin I've got.
It's the only
Rearc.
goblin you need. Rearc. That's it. Okie doke. I guess that you're just headed out to strike out into the woods to find this village. Is that the plan?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I think we come
sounds about
prepared.
right.
Okie doke. One thing we fully missed Gabe's Mechanics Corner where we throw down some player goals. Do we want to throw down player goals now as we sort of venture out into the wilderness?
Let's do it. Let's do it. And if any of us just happen to get a goal that we've already done somehow.
Yeah, if we can weasel our way into having already done it, I'll sign off on that.
I had a dream. We ate potatoes and then we talked to a guy.
Yeah, I mean,
If
no
talk
rolls
to a
have been
god
made
is
yet,
one though,
so-
you have a check. Like talk to a
That's
god
true.
could easily be one.
that is
That's
true.
pretty good. Okay, everyone roll 2d10,
Coming up,
and then I need those numbers separately.
Plus, we talk to God all the time. He's here with us.
Yeah, but
We
you
got
don't
that
make
table here,
checks
don't we?
well, no, I guess you do make checks to influence what I do. Isn't that weird?
I need to inflict 3 different types of damage.
Oh, I got a 10 and a 2. I forget to look at the.
Deliberately antagonize an enemy into attacking.
Damn it! The opposite of what I literally want to do.
Which is entertaining because I got the same 10 and 2, so that works for me.
Yes, yes.
That's what you see, when you get two people with the same goal, we can start to make some stuff happen.
Let's bully.
Calling Mr. Chekhov, you left your gun in here.
Oh my God.
Grace, what'd you get?
I got 14.
Okay, but like separately, those numbers.
Oh, 10 and 4. Sorry. I didn't know we were
Bunch of
not putting them
tens
together.
here.
Burn or destroy a building.
Guys, we
Aw,
have a
hell
big
yeah.
focus coming into this goblin town. I need everyone to keep
I'm
their
coming in to
hands-
pillage.
their hands behind their backs, tightly clasped, please.
I don't even think I can inflict 3 different types of damage.
You have to really think outside the
I'm
box.
gonna need to borrow someone else's sword.
If things go down poorly with the goblins, I am burning a building down.
Well, you have
immediately.
insults
Well,
for
that's
psychic
quite
damage.
reassuring, Margery.
You could pick up fire and hit someone with it for fire damage, and then you could bludgeon them with your lute or your trumpet.
And then harsh language is a third kind of damage.
Yeah.
Because words hurt.
Mhm.
And we could do emotional, we could do...
can hurt their feelings.
Emotional damage.
Expose their insecurities.
Awful. Well, we definitely know the mechanics certainly want one outcome.
Normal
So let's,
D&D play
let's-
does too, so we'll find out.
Yeah.
It's fair. Okie doke.
If it-
So,
if it
Haribo,
help-
you said that you knew where this goblin village is. So I
I
think
know where, yeah,
and you-
the nearest by one that I have done dealings with.
I think that's a great spot to start. I would say then a survival check with advantage for Tamagotchi. If anyone else wants to make them as well, you can, but you don't get advantage.
Stuff to survival.
Thanks for that advantage. Haribo pulled a 15.
I got a 23
Oh, hell yeah.
Hot giggity shit.
plus 5 to survival, baby.
Get this. I've got a 19.
The one with advantage so far has done the worst.
Haribo knows the worst way there.
They just
We
rolled
actually
a
all
9.
split up and got there first before
Thadeus
you.
doesn't care about goblins anyway.
Tamagotchi, Barson said you were holding the map upside down. Is that true?
Even if I am, which he did not neglect to point out, I do know which way I am going. I think.
All right.
I tried to tell him.
I owe you a gold piece.
Shit.
Yes.
Was it just the
$100.
5 of us on this adventure? Like the 4 of us, and then Barson also always.
I guess
Boss,
Barson's also
it's me.
here. Barson then has an AC of 11 and 4 hit points.
That's an NPC for you.
I thought you said he could take hits.
He can
Yeah,
take
one.
one hit.
He can take a hit, especially if it's non-lethal.
And he could take them all day with a necromancer on the team. Let's go.
No.
Oh man, it feels different when the shoe's on the other foot.
So Haribo's little yurt is to the north of town. I have like a little map I've kind of made here. And then I would imagine that their village is like a pretty good trek to the northwest.
Yes, yes. You, with a 15, I think you definitely know the way there. You know, like, the goblin route. You have, like, gone with them on their paths, and their paths sometimes have a loop-de-loop, just because it's the way that works.
Plus, I feel like the paths that they've taught me are like for visitors, right? They're not their paths. They're the paths so that by the time I reach the village, they know I'm coming.
Margery and Sparkleoneous, you guys see the paths that would get you there faster, and maybe you point them out and maybe you don't, but you do know that that's what they were as you go by them. But with those solid of rolls, we follow the paths. We only see, you know, butterflies and insects and turtles and, you know, smaller creatures. If we wanted to stop and gather herbs, maybe we find some herbs, those sorts of things. And we make our way to the spot where Tamagotchi recalls that the goblin village was. What were your dealings with the goblins?
My dealings with the goblins were, I mean, just like friendship dealings. At first, it was like becoming on a friendly, like acquainted term with them, because at first they're just aggressive. But I know that may not be the case all the time. Like in their own village, they're not aggressive towards each other, Haribo imagines. So he's like gotten to know them. Mostly for a little bit of like more knowledge on the woods, the plants, the animals, etc. Like they've taught me a lot about the woodlands. I do a little bit of trading with them with like town stuff that they need, metals from towns or whatnot.
Do you have like a specific point of contact goblin that you are most acquainted with, like
Yeah.
a regular attendee at your tea parties, or
Yeah,
you have
yeah. My first friend in the Goblin Village, his name is Koryak. Yeah. I know where Koryak's hut is, but I imagine that as we stroll up to this village, that there's a different thing.
Make
I know
perception
Koryak.
checks, everybody.
Yeah.
Spell Koryak.
KOR''YAK.
I got a 20. Not natural.
16.
7.
16 over here.
Damn, Thaddeus.
Or Thaddeus.
Single digit Thad out there.
This is not his strong suit, the whole negotiating thing. That's not why
it's true.
he's
It's true. We're just waiting for the breakdown of the negotiations here. Okay, you are coming up on the spot where your memory says the village is, and it's too quiet. It's not like quiet because it's still like forest sounds, but no goblin sounds. And goblins in their own community are not quiet. They are very very talkative, even if most of the talking is arguments.
As we approach the outside of like, do they have like, is this a walled community? Okay, we approach...
this is some rough buildings and a clearing kind of a community.
Okay. As we approach, is there any signs of like movement or life, like fires or?
No.
Okay.
No.
I warned my group that this is certainly not normal, especially for this group. They are a loud bunch. I was starting to feel a little nervous earlier, but yes, Margery.
Oh, so this is just to remember. I got a 20.
Grace.
Did I not to perceive anything?
Oh, do you want extra goodies for your special number?
Yeah.
Excuse me, DM. I rolled good. You might be forgetting.
Sorry, is that rude?
You know what? No, you're right.
I love it.
Right. I
love it. 100%. If you think you did something cool and you rolled a good number, you make sure you did something cool.
I say, quiet. And Margery says,
I recall as a player that I am definitely the kind of player to be a nuisance if I think I deserve something.
This man will beat around the bush with 10 questions to get his yes.
It's better than me. I'm just a general nuisance.
Please do the same thing to me. We'll get to your extra thing. I'm not done describing those far. I've gotten to say it's too quiet and there's no feet people. You come out into the clearing, and most of what you see is that this community seems to have been subjected to some form of raid. Where there were once perhaps 5 rough huts, maybe there are 2 now standing. One has been burned, and it looks like the other 2 have been like pushed over or knocked down in some way. The central campfire is sort of scattered around. There are no bodies. I think that's the big interesting thing beyond the general destruction, is that there aren't any corpses, despite there being some signs of violence.
Haribo goes running in.
Margery, you see, I think as an urchin, your first instinct is to do the perimeter. So you're like going around the edge of the clearing, and you with your 20 spot drag marks over to one side of the clearing. Lots of them. Okay, Haribo goes running in.
Haribo is looking around for any goblin from this village that he can help, because this looks like a problem, and he knows the people well enough that even if they see his face and don't love him, maybe there will be some sort of acquaintance here,
A friendly face is a friendly face. What
Indeed.
I really want from you is an act under pressure roll, but let's see. It's just like because you're trying to help. You're trying to like run in and look around and
Investigation,
maybe
athletics, medicine. I think
that's a wisdom roll.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. Let's roll it. Ooh. Oh. Okay.
Bodes well.
It doesn't. It's gonna be a 6.
Cool. Anyone else who wants to make checks in this space? Now we have a space to make checks in. Tamagotchi, you run one of the huts that has been pushed down. Does belong to Konjak or whatever. Koryak.
Cognac is something
yes.
real, right?
Cognac is a brandy. Konjak might be some sort of a meat product, I thought, but Cognac is a name for a goblin that M knows.
Koryak.
Koryak.
I will for sure forget by next session, so hopefully my notes have it down.
Well, we've said it. We've said it a lot now.
Sparkleoneous has got it written down in my
journal.
Are we supposed to be writing things down?
No, it's just for your own notes if you want them.
It's as much or as little notes as you want. I write things down now, and then I listen to the episode a few more times, and I write more things down.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes I look at them. Sometimes. Yeah, one of the huts that has been pushed over is Koryak's hut, and so you're sort of overwhelmed with the possibility that it was pushed down on top of him, and so you run in sort of a little panicked, and are just like trying to rifle through this collection of boards.
Yes, 100%.
Anyone else have things they want to do here in the clearing?
I think Barson and Sparkleoneous are going to just sort of keep an eye out in the middle of the clearing. Like, we're just going to kind of circle around. That's the nice thing about having an NPC with me. We could watch each other's backs, so we're just kind of moving in a little tight circle in the center of the town. And I think that is going to be another perception check, unless you want to just take that 16 I rolled a minute ago.
I would sort of want it to be like an investigation check or a perception check that is looking for something. Like, I want to know what it is that you're trying to find out here in this
movement.
The presence of
spying eyes.
Oh, okay. You're trying to see if you're being watched right now. Okay.
If it's actually, I don't have either of those tagged, so it's just a flat 16.
Flat 16. Call it 17 because Barson's also there.
Perfect. Thanks, Barson.
Yeah, he's worth 1.
Carrying his weight. He doesn't weigh a lot.
I'm gonna disappoint you.
Barson says, well, I don't see anything here, boss. I think I'm just gonna sit down now. This was a lot of walking for old Barson.
That's all right, Barson. Just don't sit anywhere dangerous.
I think what you see as far as like you're not being watched right now, but you do see from just sort of casting around, you see that while this clearing is pretty secluded from like ground level, there are a few different spots, like up on sort of higher ground on hillsides and things that can see into this clearing. So it's not perhaps as secluded as the goblins might have thought. You know, they were better targets than perhaps they originally intended to be here.
I would like to follow the drag marks, please.
Okay, make an investigation check of these drag marks.
That will be a 14.
Okay. The drag marks they're made, I think, from like, I want to say sledges or like, larger implements that are being pulled. The footprints here that surround the drag marks are like work boots. The phrase hobnail boots comes to mind, but I don't actually know what that refers to, so I don't know if
Comes to
that's
your
like
mind. I
helpful or
got it.
distinctive. Yeah, it does. It just sort of pops up. I'm thinking like sort of military footwear, but like what that means in this world is hard to pin down. Like as you follow these tracks, and I think what you're doing is you're not following them into the woods. You're following them from this spot on the perimeter into the center of the clearing. And what you're seeing with these tracks, I think the watchword of the day is efficiency. Like it seems like they dovetail into one single road that leaves the clearing at this spot. Whatever happened here was done precisely and in a well organized way. I think either an insight or a survival check could sort of lead you in a direction there. There are
Well, I have a
certain...
+5 to survival, so let me survey.
Haribo has been digging through this the remains of Koryak's hut, and he says, "I don't." He starts to come down. He says, "I don't. I'm not finding any evidence of Koryak, and I imagine I'm not finding any evidence of Koryak. I should say before I say that I'm not. Okay, I'm not finding any evidence of Koryak here.
You rolled a 6, right?
On my medicine check, yeah, to like come
Yeah,
find
I mean, I
victims.
think. Do you have investigation as a proficient skill?
Yes.
Okay, I think give that a shot as well. I don't want to leave you high and dry there for just a medicine check.
No, leave me high and dry because I also got a 6 on that. I'm
Oh, all right,
overwhelmed
well,
with grief. My friend.
get stuffed. He was a much better friend than we thought.
Shit.
Okay, Thaddeus, what do you make of this? Have you been following anyone's investigation in particular? Have you been doing your own
I've
thing?
mostly been watching Margery's because she's following the drag marks. So he would come over and add his perception check to the boot tracks to look at combat skills, to look at recognizable footprints.
Ooh,
I
yeah.
also got a 19 on my survival check when I was surveying the clearing.
But apparently his heart's not in it because he got a 12.
Oh. He's like, oh, okay, these are goblins.
Goblins
I
don't
think
affect
he's
me.
still convinced that he may be being punished by being sent with this group.
Fair. What did he do to be punished?
I don't know how he made the Lord mad that the Lord said, you go with these people.
You just put off some vibe, I guess.
That's what he's distracted by this whole time. Is like, what did I do? Every time we fuck him, he's like, these guys?
I know I said I wanted to adventure, but this is ridiculous.
This is ridiculous.
Because Haribo's just weeping in the yurt, and Barson's sitting.
Oh boy. Okay. Think with a survival check, what you sort of suss out here is not many groups are going to raid efficiently and also take captives. Between those two bits of information, your first guess is something along the lines of hobgoblins. They're known for taking captives and for being militaristic and expansionary. They're perhaps a little strange to see signs of them out here without having been given some sort of heads up. They aren't known for being particularly clandestine, or they don't fly under the radar very well.
Haribo's mad. Now he's ready to instigate a fucking fight.
He murdered his friend.
Koryak.
Koryak.
No, it's Koryak. It took me a long time to say it right too.
We're gonna get revenge for Cormorant.
No, Koryak. Took me a while to get it too.
We've gotta avenge Konjak.
Nope.
Yes.
It's
thank
Koryak.
you, Barson.
We won't let Carmichael die in vain.
All right.
I think this whole bit also technically qualifies as a callback because we do this all the time. It's my favorite bit.
I was gonna do a bit where, like, even if it was said right, I was gonna be like, "No, you're not saying it right." You know, like how a lot of people do with like their names already. But then you ruined that for me by just taking it away from me.
Yep.
We sure did.
And you'll never know whether we're doing it on accident or on purpose.
So it seems like that we have a pretty good idea of perhaps who did this, but is it too organized? Is it made to look like it's this? Or am I thinking too hard?
My survival check tells me it might be hobgoblins.
Mm-hmm.
I have not.
I will say that no one
organized
has,
in hobgoblins.
Other than Haribo, no one has really had a thorough inspection of any of the dwellings.
I have not seen hobgoblins traipsing about these woods nearly as much as the goblins. So this.
I got a natural 20.
Find it.
Well, then you look at the buildings.
You find what
then. I'll
wasn't
just
there,
stand
but
here
is
with
now
Barson.
there.
My eyes are real good.
Turns out the goblins are safe.
Oh look, I found them here.
They're all in here.
I found them.
Did you not look over here, Haribo? I mean, they're right here.
They were dragging kegs because it's a party. Yes, yes.
They're all left to go to their mountain party. Okay.
Killing it with these rolls, hell yeah. Good purple.
You're killing it. Way to move
the rest
plot
of us
forward
are
here.
not.
It's all my this was a natural, but all my bonuses.
Okay. You search through the standing hut here. Inside of this hut is some rudimentary furniture. Some of it is smashed. You see like partially busted crates and barrels. And as you're searching through one of these crates, you find like a placemat menu from Sylvana's Inn and Tavern. And on the back of this placemat is written an account of the village elder, I guess. It is just like a dense scrawl of goblin written on the back of this. We're going to call it a menu now. Written on the back of this menu. I don't think any of you can read goblin, but there's a lot of words in goblin now here.
Okay, I hold up the menu and show it to Tamagotchi. Do any of these words look familiar to you, or anything jump out with goblin?
Is that perception or just like a wisdom situation? On which
Trying to make
I'm trying to see, if any of the words do jump out to me. If I can't read the whole thing, because I probably couldn't, after speaking to them long enough, I feel like maybe I can pick out some words, even if it's at first grade understanding.
Insight, I think, is the skill here.
Insight is the skill here. That would be a natural one.
Ah, beans.
You are really distraught.
I can't read it through the tears in my eyes.
Too many tears. I take the paper back before he gets it wet.
Gets
with
it
his
wet,
tears.
yeah, for sure.
I was literally about to ruin it with his tears, so that's a good call.
I snatched it back. See, I sibling read your mind. I know the devious tricks. What do I do with this thing? I can't read. Are there any doodles, or is it just words? Maybe they're visual learners.
You know, Korak was an
Not-
acquaintance, but through a series of failed rolls, he's become probably my best friend in this entire campaign. And now I'm worried about him.
Yes, the plot has changed.
Korak.
On the side with all of the text, no drawings, no doodles, no nothing. On the side with the menu options, there is a rough doodle. It's how do I go about
Doodle.
doodle.
Live action.
Live action
Live-action
doodle.
draw it. It's perfect for audio. Show us your doodle.
Talk to us about what you're doodling. Dungeons, Drive-Ins, and Dice: A Wider World is DM'd by Gabe Stringer. The players in this episode are Lawrence Jennings as Sparkleoneous, Grace Stringer as Margery Ridgeback, Mike Harrison as Thaddeus Ofkoot, and myself, M. Williams, as Haribo Tamagotchi. Thanks for joining us for episode 3 of A Wider World. Make sure you follow the podcast and leave us a rating wherever you're listening in from. We really do appreciate all the support and new listeners that have come on board this season. If you enjoy what you heard here, might I suggest you listen to the season before this one, Children of the Stars. Grim, dark, and set in the 40k universe, it's filled with laughs, jokes, and careless executions. If you want to stay up to date on all of the excess supplemental material we create for D&D 5e, go out and follow us on Instagram at DDADPOD or DDADPod, or even on the Patreon, where members can access our entire catalog of items or even our first season of the podcast, Delta Dawn, at patreon.com/DDADpodcast. That's patreon.com/DDADpodcast. Next episode will be up February 22nd, folks. We'll see you then.
To be fair, in the last chapter, I think everyone got through it thinking that I had said that M was required to take crap damage.
Was he not?
No, it was with a T, trap damage.
That
I
is
thought it was
crap damage.
It's a good joke.
You really?
Yeah, when
I was joking with you on
when
that
I
fun
went-
bit. I am surprised that you thought
I fully
actually had to take a
believed it.
shit.
I fully believed it that you had to shit your pants.
I thought that I had clarified correctly, but when I went back and listened to it twice in the last couple days, both times I was like, he did say crap damage, didn't he? It sounds like crap damage.
That's so
Uh,
funny.